Hi, welcome to the coaching game. Guess who's here? It's Terry Yoffe from Coaches Creating Change, and I'm Laurie Lawson. And we are thrilled to be here in the merry month of April.
You're right. Wow. Coaches creating change.
Yeah,
Terry Yoffe, Laurie Lawson, our dynamic duo. How
we try.
fabulous is that?
We try for
You're
sure,
right.
for
You're
sure.
right.
So we
So,
were taught, speaking of change, we were saying, okay, what could help out during the month of April? And as we know, April has been a little chaotic. And I actually found that I have had to work with two of my friends who were depressed because of the situation and the unsureness and all of that. And,
chaos.
right? Are you finding that with your clients too?
Um, I'm finding the chaos, the uncertainty
Mhm.
that most people are are in a dizzy or in a tizzy, and it takes a lot to really focus on what's important to each of us. And for me, I I don't watch, I know what's going on. I do not watch the news. I refuse to let what's going on out there in the world seep into what's going on my inner world and creating change and being positive and going about my life. I just refuse to I mean to totally buy into it, you know, and I understand.
Yeah, well, do I buy into it? I think I buy into the fact that, yeah, things are crazy right now, and that it can affect people in different ways. And it sounds like you're trying to stay in the present if you can and not go, oh my God, what's going to happen tomorrow? And a lot of people are going, oh my God, what happened yesterday? So I think maybe one of the things that we have to remind people of is like, okay, what can you control? What are the things that you can control? Because obviously, we don't have any power over who gets tariffed, and we don't have any power over who gets fired or who gets kept. So what is it that we can control, and how can we're obviously, if we're upset and we're depressed, we're obviously telling ourselves either the same old story or a story that's not serving us. So, what thoughts do you have on that?
Well, ironically, I have a podcast, a solo podcast out. I'm going to be proactive here.
Oh,
Extraordinary Work Conversations about Creating Change is my podcast.
mhm,
And for the next 2 weeks, I have done a solo podcast called Change Your Story, Change Your Life.
mhm.
And I think we all have these stories. I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy. I'm not valuable. I can't go out on Saturday because who knows what chaos is going to take place. Or maybe now's not the great time to ask for a raise because we're not sure. And what I find, and I'm sure you do too, with clients, with everybody, is we all have these stories. And when we keep these stories in place, we can't change our life and how we move forward. It's like constantly looking in the rearview mirror. That's the past. We can't change what's going on or what went on, but there are valuable lessons that maybe we can take away that can assist us with how we want to move forward in our lives.
We love to give assignments. So I think that's a great assignment. I would say write down five things that are really It's like, oh my God, I wish this hadn't happened and this is happening. And then maybe say, okay, what lesson did I learn or can I learn? And it becomes an opportunity as opposed to, oh my God, woe is me and the country's going to hell and whatever else craziness you're telling yourself. But it may not even truth, who knows? But it's like, okay, what can you learn from those five things that are really bothering you right now? And again, I'm back to what can you control? It's like, can you control world economics? I don't think so. I'd like to think I could, but I don't spend that much, so I don't think so. So it's like so it's like what can you learn from these experiences that are kind of I keep thinking of someone when you're trying to run and someone's holding your skirt and you're just, pedaling and you're not going anywhere. And I think that's what Terry's saying about the past. It's like if you keep telling yourself the same story, the same thing's going to happen, or you're going to respond the same way, and nothing's going to change. It's just going to be the same old, same old.
Exactly. And I think these stories mostly are, well, not what's going on today, but limiting beliefs and assumptions. And that's something somebody must have told you, but it's not true. And when we keep these, woe is me, I'm this, I'm that, oh my God, I don't know how I'm going to survive. Um, it keeps us from what I like to call playing a bigger game,
Mm,
keeps us playing small, meaning we don't make choices. We go along with the assumption. So we don't go anywhere. They don't help us move forward. They don't help us grow. They don't help us create the changes we want because we're stuck. And if you can start to change your story, how you look at it, and shift gears and mindsets, that's where the growth is. That's where the opportunities are. That's where stepping out and transforming occur, not when you're telling yourself these negative thoughts.
or not when you're confirming it with, okay, this happened in the past. I do not want to
Right,
screw up again. I do
right.
not want to feel that feeling again. I'm never going to do that again. It's like rather than saying, okay, I gave it a try. You got to give yourself credit for that. It's much better than not doing anything. I gave it a try and it didn't work. So what could I do better? What could I have not done? When do I get the chance to try it out again? As opposed to being, oh my God, okay, I'm stuck in this box right here now. And I learned my lesson and I'm never going to do it again. So it is a matter of, first of all, changing your perspective, of course, but also switching it. And we call it reframing. We call it, I like what you said, interpretation. It's like that's your interpretation. And I'm sure you've seen on Facebook the people, there's a person on one side and a person on the other side, and they're looking on the ground at the figure 6 and or 9, however you're looking at it. And it's like who's right? And they're both right. But your interpretation is not the only thing that's going on. So that's a good thing to remember. And you're assuming it's a good time to ask, how true is that? What proof do I really have? I think you did a podcast or something like that on that. What proof do I have that this is really how I'm thinking of it? So um, there are ways to take all that fear that is legitimate and is a nice warning sign too, and use it for something that can get you to go forward, not backward. Yeah.
Absolutely. So my metaphor is with the car, and the rear view mirror is the past.
Mhm.
And you can look in it and you can learn lessons that you can bring forward. And the driver's seat is the present because you have everything there. And then the windshield is the future and looking out. And where do you want to take yourself? You're in the present, and do you want to keep looking in that rear view mirror? Or do you want to move forward and look at the open road and what's ahead of you and the potential of where you want to go?
What a
So,
metaphor. And yeah, you can use the rear view mirror just to remind yourself, okay, that didn't work last time. I'm going to give it another try, or I have a new way to do it. And just to see where you've been, but you can't drive a car looking in the rear view mirror. You have to look forward or you're going to be in big trouble. So I love that metaphor. That's perfect for what we're saying. It's like, yeah, move along, use all the stuff in the car, whatever the side view mirrors too,
right,
whatever you have to do.
exactly.
But basically, you're right. It's the windshield wiper, the wiper, no, it's the windshield that's going to get you where you want to go, and that's looking forward. So, um,
Exactly. Yeah. And I think, I'm sorry, did I
no,
interrupt you?
no, I was just gonna, I'll tie it in later. Go ahead.
Um, but if we're willing to change our story, right, we can change our life. We can rewrite our story in a way that serves us. I certainly have done that, growing up and how I grew up and the challenges I met, um, and what I had to do to get to here, where I am today. They were great challenges. And if I stayed in my little story, woe is me, look at me, I didn't have a great chance in life, it keeps me stuck. However, if I look at, wow, look at the challenges I went through, I'm so grateful that I was able to go through them and that I was willing and able to do that and to say yes along the way. So grateful that all of that got me to where I am. So, in rewriting our story, you can't change what happened. It's how you look at it and the perspective you want to stand in that gets you from there to here.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say. How does that all tie into change? And you did that beautifully. That's exactly how it does. I know. Yeah, I had a chaotic childhood too and moved around a million times. And when I finally got to a place where it was like, okay, I'm tired. This wherever I am, I'm staying right here. And I did all the things that you were supposed to do. I bought a house, I got married, and finally I went, why do I have to stay here? Who told me I have to stay here? It was like, oh, I told myself that. And it was like, I am bored out of my head. So I started interviewing, so to speak, cities and going to different places and going, which one am I going to do? And it was like, okay, if you're going to take this leap, do it. New York City, here we come. And but it was like I gave myself the message that said, no, you can't do this. You're tired now. You've moved too much. And it took me, I'm going to say 5 or 6 years to go, wait a minute. Who told me that besides me? So it was interpretation, it was limiting thought, it was assumption that no, I'm done. And I'm not sure, maybe boredom. I'm not sure what finally made me go, wait, this can't be my story for the rest of my life. But something, pay attention to those little feelings and those spider feelings in there that say, you know what, this, I'm not sure this is working. And listen to them. Sometimes it could just be boredom, I know, and it's over in a day or two, but other times it can really get you to say, I'm going to take that leap. Yeah. I think Terry talks about that with age too. We say, okay, we're a certain age, so now we can't do this, we can't do that. And she said, watch me, hold my beer, so to speak.
Ex-
Yeah.
yes, I am in my eighth decade,
Oh, looking
and
gorgeous. Yes, yes.
and I now say that proudly because I feel amazing. I feel I've been a podcaster for it's my fourth year, doing phenomenally well. I'm in the top 2% globally of listen notes. I've been coaching for over 20 years and still doing it. I'm now training to get back up on a stage. So ageism doesn't matter. If you buy into that, that's a story, and you can't change your life. I feel great, I look great, and we don't have to leave our dreams on the cutting room floor, or our desires or our goals, because we've reached a certain age. As these are the societal norms, which I never ever followed. I never got married at 20. I had never had 3-point kids. I never had a white picket fence. And I didn't retire at 65. I was just starting my coaching. So it depends on your mindset, on what you want to believe for yourself and who you want to be. So sorry.
Yeah, and I appreciate that, and I think I would caution people, or not caution, but yeah, I guess caution them to become aware of your what you feel are your limitations. I'm too
Right.
short, I'm too fat, I'm too old, I'm too I don't have a college degree. All of these things, uh, if you will look, if you're of our age, you will see that what was important 10 years ago has become what was taboo 10 years ago has become things that people desire now. That college degree, nobody's that impressed anymore. They feel that, especially after the pandemic, when we found out, you know what, that college degree is not going to get you toilet paper. What is going to get you toilet paper is your delivery people and a little bit
Right.
of money to pay them off. And so the tides change. So I wish there was some way we could get to kids, because oh my gosh, I don't know if I could be a kid today with all the bullying and all the peer pressure and everything. But it's like you can see the people who are ridiculously successful were little nerds and bullied people as
Right.
children, and they went, okay, I'll just watch this, I'll do this instead. So what I would say, whatever you think your flaw is, take a look at it and make sure it can be an asset for sure. Like we could walk around going, oh my God, it's time to retire 65. Or you can do what Terry did and go, I got so much wisdom I'm sitting on. I'm sharing this with everybody now, and take it
Exactly.
and turn it around if you can. Yeah, yeah,
It's, with my over 6 decades of working, the wisdom, the life, the business experiences that I have, that I'm going out, my passion in working with clients is helping them tap into, as I call myself, a gladiator coach, because I was a gladiator, I am.
Mhm.
Every day getting up, and I'm sure you can identify, getting into that ring, getting into that arena every single day, and then getting out, but not getting back up and going back in. A lot of people go in, they come out, they go, no more, can't deal. Instead of getting up and going back out, another day, another day, another day. And with that perspective, that's what I work with clients, helping them find their own inner gladiator so they can transform and grow and change. Because that's what this world needs. People that are willing to create change and then pay it forward and then help others.
Yeah. Especially now, especially now.
Right.
But I will do a caveat to that. It's like, okay, if you go in the circle and you come out and you go, you know what? I'm totally happy where I am. That's okay too. But
Mhm.
if you know,
Absolutely.
you will know if you're not totally satisfied. And it doesn't mean you have to be a full-time gladiator like Terry. You can, get your sword when you need it, or you can say, I'm going to devote 25% of my life to this
Right.
because I always wanted to do
Absolutely.
it. But modify it to make it what you want it to be. I can't tell you what you want, and Terry can't tell you what you want, and we don't
No,
want to. We
no.
want you, but what we will do as coaches is help you figure out what do I want? What's missing? What resources do I have? How can I get the ones I need? That's kind of the job of a coach. And
Right,
that all of that helps you change your story. But first, I
right,
think you have to realize that, hey, this is just a story. And I know Terry mentioned the bigger game, and that's Rick Tamlin, who his whole
right.
thing is, the whole thing is made up. Make it if you're going to make up a story, make up a big one. Why not? So realize it's a story.
And we all have our stories.
Yeah,
And it depends how you want to shape those stories. The
yeah.
woe is me, boo hoo hoo story. Or alternatively, look at how you can rewrite the same story, being grateful and having some joy that, wow, I was able to rewrite my story in what aligned with me. I knew where I wanted to go. I think some part of me knew where I wanted to go. And to get there, I had to do a lot of falling down and getting back up, believe me, and crying and getting let go from jobs. It's, I guess everyone looks at their life honestly and says, I love where I'm at, and that's great. Everyone should get to that place and say, I love myself. I love where I'm at. I love my life. And that's where you land.
That's where I'll do another caveat though. It's like, okay, and that's where you are. And then, because when I said, I don't know how old I was, maybe 20, I don't know. But when I said, I'm tired and I can't do this anymore, that's where I was. And it was like, I was
Right.
tired. I was sick of moving. I was sick
Oh,
of,
yeah.
doing new friends. And I said, no, I'm going to settle here and make the best of it. And that's fine until it wasn't. And I think you have to have that flexibility, that little bit of bendy
Of
part,
course.
and if you find Nirvana at age 20 and you want to stay there, hey, I'm never going to tell you
Of
get
course.
out of it.
Absolutely. What we're saying is just general.
Yeah.
Everyone finds their own place that they can be happy and fulfilled and find a purpose and passion. And if you don't go through anything and you feel that way, aren't you lucky? Uh, and if you only have to go a little way, it's, everyone has to take away from our conversations
Mhm.
what they feel works for them.
Absolutely.
We are not here telling people this is what you should do. These are our own stories, if you will.
There you go. Our own story. Yeah, and I think something else that maybe maybe that you and I do, but I think we help people add to their passion. It's like, okay, this is good. What else can make it better? What would make it? It's 80%. What would make it 90%? And feel free to add on to that. Because that's where you start looking in the rearview mirror. It's like, oh,
Okay.
don't rock this boat. I'm in a happy place. I don't want to change anything. And take the past and say, here's what I did, and here's how I'll do it better now. Because there's more. There's always more. And there's no shortage of um, can I say there's no shortage of peace? There's no shortage of inner awareness. I mean, you can constantly keep working on that. Thank God for coaches. They're
Yes,
everywhere and they can help you now. And it's something that can make sure that you do spend the story that you want. You do create it. And there's an editor. You can edit it at any time. You can end it. You can add on to it. Why not? But at least get it started. We're not saying you can't sit right where you are and be a happy person, but we're just saying if you want a little bit more, we have a few tips for you. So,
right, exactly. And what's chapter one, chapter two, chapter three?
yeah, well, that's a good
Everyone's got a chapter. Um, I don't expect anyone to do the work I did because that was a lot. And for me, as I said, I had a vision for who I wanted to be. and it took a lot to get there.
And you're
And
still
I'm
gonna.
still growing. I think life's a journey.
Yep, and you to have fun. My thing is life's a journey, enjoy it because
Right,
that's the whole point. It's like just because you didn't reach the goal, did you have fun getting there? Did you have fun
right.
getting wherever you got? Did you learn something? Did you help somebody? Yeah, did you pass it on? All of that. It's like whatever's going to bring you some kind of joy. I would just say that we're taught, I was taught, maybe we're not taught anymore, we're talking different generations for sure, but we're taught to say, okay, society will guide you. Here's what you should do, and here's what expected, and here are the boundaries. And it took me a long time to go, no, I don't have to do that. I knew at a very young age that I did not want to live in a small town. I didn't realize I lived in New York City one day, but
Right,
but so you gotta nurture and feed those feelings that you have and see, are they legitimate? Maybe I'm trying to think of an instance that would make me want to live in a small town, but I can't. So I'll go, but there might be one that it'll come up. I occasionally I say, it's time to leave the city and get a bigger house and a tree and all that stuff. But nah, I think I know where I am. But it requires constant evaluation too, and courage to look and
right.
say, wow, I spent 10 years getting here. Do I really want to say, okay, not good enough? Yeah, why not? You only have one life. Why not?
Exactly. That's the whole point.
Yeah,
We're here on borrowed time.
yeah,
What do you want to do with that time? And that's up to every individual to make that decision.
absolutely. And I think the most significant thing that I've faced. Sometimes you're on there and they have some cool stuff. And I think there's a picture and it really just says we're all just walking each other home. So it
Mhm.
doesn't hurt to extend your hand. It doesn't hurt to share your knowledge. It doesn't hurt to be vulnerable because everybody's kind of in that same thing. But if your story is, oh, I can't make a mistake, then you're not gonna take advantage of all that. So I don't know, maybe that's a good point to leave on. It's like get out there, do something cool for yourself, do something cool for somebody else. Change your story. It's
And
yours.
change your
You made,
life.
yes, you made it up. So
Right.
make it
Absolutely.
up and make it up to where you really want it to be. Oh my. So let's go out there and change our stories. I guess
And change your life.
and change
It's
our lives and
uh,
keep smiling, keep smiling. These are
right.
tight times, but we're all going to get through it together, hopefully. So, all right, Miss Yaffe, I
All
will
right,
see you
Miss
in the merry
Lawson,
month of
we will see
May.
you soon. Happy April and change your story, change your life.
Okay, we got it.
Thank you.
Take
Bye.
care. Bye bye.